Hi guys, welcome to my new office for the 2026 season. With me I've brought the Twintips also for the 2026 season. I'm going to run through the changes that we did on the Select, Soleil and Shred before moving on to the Jaime SLS and the bigger SLS. What is important for us for these three boards, the Select, Soleil and Shred, is that the changes that we've done are always the same. So whether you buy a Select SLS or Soleil SLS, a Select Concept Blue or Soleil Concept Blue, the boards have changed in the same way. For us, it's always been a challenge, or the challenge behind these three models has been to create the ultimate freeride board for ambitious customers. What defines freeriding for us? Well, freeriding is a board which is comfortable yet sporty. It's fast but controlled. It has really great upwind ability and it's fun in all conditions. So the changes that we as a team did to these boards this year have really focused around these four key characteristics to improve the board, push it into the direction of the ultimate freeride machine. The Select, Soleil and Shred have always been comfortable boards through the use of the Space Flex. However, this year we've added a really mellow double concave in the bottom, which just passed the chop really nicely, so you have a super soft feeling. It's really nice on the ankles. You feel an immediate difference when going out with the Select from last year, or the Soleil or the Shred, and compare it to this new board. Furthermore, to ensure that we have a really nice and fast board, we've kept the same outline. The outline of the Select, Soleil and Shred has always been a little bit longer, a little bit narrower as compared to our other boards. That makes the board really fast, but when you're going fast, you want to be fast and controlled. Yeah, you want to have the control over your board. You don't want to just go shooting across the water. And to ensure that we have this straight outline, but we also added angled rails. We know from the Jaime and the bigger board, these have really done us a complete treat when it comes to keeping grip, maintaining grip at high speeds in rougher conditions when it's not perfect. And this is really essential for us on these boards this year as well, to ensure that we don't only have a fast board, but we have a fast board where the rider is always in control over the board, even if he's really going for it. The feature of the angled rails has really improved the upwind ability of this board. And this for me is also one of those four key characteristics that turn a board into a real freeride machine. When you're just riding, you're out there, you don't want to be worried about, oh, will I be able to go upwind? Is it too much? Is it not enough? You want the board to give you the most support in that situation as possible, and that you're just completely free going upwind on the board. So the angled rails, as you put the board in the water and you put it on its edge, they go deeper into the water. The outline sits a bit deeper in the water, so you have more surface area below the water surface. That gives you more pressure, so you can go upwind better. These changes have really created a board that's fun in all conditions. Whether you're in Cape Town, whether you're here in the Red Sea, whether you're in Europe on a lake, this board is the board for all conditions. It's super fun. It has a little bit of pop, it has a little bit of speed. In all directions it covers the Duotone Kiteboarding compass. So I'm really happy with this product. I think it's the do-it-all machine. It's the ultimate freeride machine. We have for the ambitious customer the SLS versions of the board. We have for the customer that's maybe not quite so ambitious and looking for even more comfort. We have the Concept Blue versions of these boards, and for the youngsters we have the Shred in the glass fiber construction. I'm super stoked on this. It's been so fun developing it, and I can't wait for it to hit the market, and I hope that you enjoy it as much as we did when we built this board. One thing that's really handy about my new office is that it acts as a really nice board rack. So that's already going for it, even though the walls are not quite finished yet, but we'll have it ready for next year. So the Jaime. I think the Jaime is one that's difficult to beat. Recently I've actually just had a pop-up on my YouTube live stream feed, whatever it's called, the Discovery feed, I guess. It actually won the Kiteboarding blind test. So I think, as you know, that's going up against all other freestyle boards from other brands, and this one won it. So it's, in my opinion, the ultimate freestyle machine. In Ruben Lenton, who did the test's opinion, also the ultimate freestyle machine. I'm really stoked on this, but we still had a couple of things which we wanted to change for this year. So these changes really all focus on the bottom shape of the board. We also we've changed the concave a little bit. We've made it a bit pointier in the middle. And the way that works and the impact that has on the board itself while riding is you will have more control when you land, and your landing is not perfect. It's a little bit more comfortable. And when you compare it to the double concave of the Select, this one has a deeper double concave. So even in rougher conditions, this one will provide more comfort when landing and more grip when landing. You kind of have to imagine it as the bow of a boat, which is also kind of pointy, as you know. The boat is trying to split the water, and that's exactly what we're trying to do with the Jaime. We want to split the water away from the center of the board, where it creates slip and just like discomfort when landing. But at the same time, you want to go and have the board feel really, right, you want to have a lot of control during landing. So the water is split away from the center, moved towards the channels, and runs by the tips, making it really nice and smooth, and you have a lot of control as you touch down back on the water. When we talk about the channels, you will notice that this year the double diffuser system, which is what we call the channels in the back here, has changed a little bit. We've moved away from having the channels run towards the center and a more straight line. For us, we've experienced that this gives us the same amount of grip as in previous years, but just allows for that little bit more speed. And as you know, when you want to go and jump high, speed is key. So for us, this has been the faster board. It has a more comfortable landing as in previous years, and it's also been a little bit more tuned towards the sort of freestyle bigger direction, which you will see as well since we've done similar changes to the TS Bigger SLS. Apart from that, the outline of the Jaime remains unchanged to previous years, so it's still a bit rounder than the Select, a bit more playful, but at the same time with the channeling, straightening out the channels out here in the tip and the double diffuser, we found that it's a bit faster, more speed, more air. Very simple. This brings us to our last board, new board for the 2026 season, the Team Series Bigger SLS. With the bigger trend continuing to being pushed further and further to the extreme, the board had to change a little bit to adapt to the riders' needs. It's really a board for the team. It's developed for them to compete, as you could see in Leucate at the Lord of the Trams. The team riders, some of them were already on this newer model. And as I said, it's a real competition-oriented board for going really big. It's super stiff, and it's our premier big air board. What's interesting is that actually even riders that are not obligated by contract to ride this board are also picking up this board when they have free choice of product at a pro level. So it seems that this board is not only working for our team, but also for riders that have not been part in the development process. So what's new on the big air board? Well, the first thing that's maybe a little bit difficult to see is that we actually changed the outline slightly. It used to be the same outline as the Jaime, a 136 by 41 or 139 by 42 respectively. And it's now been scaled down to a 136 by 40 and a 139 by 41. What does this do? Well, the sort of narrower shape of the body just provides way more grip, and especially in really challenging, gusty, strong conditions like we saw, for example, at the Lord of the Trams, this narrow outline provides the team riders with more grip, more control, and it really helps them to go and push their limits even when the conditions are absolutely rough out there. As you will be able to see on the bottom, the Bigger has received the same changes as we've done on the Jaime. So it again has received this sort of deeper double concave in the center, which runs into a bit of a more of a ridge, even a peak for some. And we've straightened out the channels here in the back, just like on the Jaime and the Jaime SLS. So I'm not going to go into the changes again, since I've just told you about those. But this is the Bigger board for the next season. It's already picked up its first title at the Lord of the Trams, and I'm excited to see what it will do once it hits the market in September. So now I just want to quickly revisit our layups, refresh your minds from last year. You might not have heard about them in a while. And I'm going to start with the Concept Blue layup. This is our layup for most original boards, especially for the Select Concept Blue and the Soleil Concept Blue, as well as for the Jaime Concept Blue. So we have a flux top layer, which is supported by some basalt stringers with a basalt base. This creates a really well-rounded board. It's not quite as sporty, not quite as stiff as a SLS board, but especially for customers who might not be going on the water every day of the week, this is definitely the preferred choice, and for those that are a bit more oriented on the budget-oriented side. The SLS layup is also the same as last year. We have reinforcements using upcycled carbon fiber. We have a 45-degree biax base bottom, as well as our feature, the Tickstream Inegra, so the spread toe carbon with the white fibers and the black fibers. This offers a really sporty feel. It has a lot of pop. It's lighter than the Concept Blue construction, obviously, and the Inegra still ensures that it's comfortable for the fact that it's more sporty, more performance oriented than the Concept Blue constructions. Both boards have bio-based rails. Same with all other boards, you will get this feature. So now that we've looked at all the constructive changes and we've revisited the layups, let me tell you a little bit about the thoughts that we had when coming up with the models and why they are the way they are. So I know that some customers come into a shop and some of them are already completely set and they know exactly which board they want to buy in which size. But other customers might be a little bit more open and might be looking for a little bit more guidance. So here's the thought that went into our boards. So we have the freeride section with the Select, the Soleil and the Shred, with the Select really being for absolutely everyone that is looking for the ultimate freeride machine, and it's our premier board for the 2026 season. The Soleil being for women and the Shred being for kids. This is really mirrored through the flex characteristics of the board. On the freestyle side of things, we have the Jaime Concept Blue and the Jaime SLS for more ambitious customers that want to push their big air game but are not completely committed and want to purchase the Big Air SLS board. And then on the very far end of the spectrum, we have the Team Series Big Air SLS. This is our premier big air board. It's the board that all the team rides, and I know that a lot of customers have also been picking this up from our sales number. But as I said, it's a real competition-oriented big air board. After all, we've really looked at all the models, we've analyzed them, we've done a lot of changes to them this year. They're not just carryover boards, everything is new on these models, and I'm really hoping that you enjoy them as much as we did in the development phase when they hit the market in September. And I'm looking forward to hearing to your feedback as well. Thank you very much.